Hey, hi again, everyone. For this video, I'm just going to quickly take you through some of the assignments here for week number one, just so that we're all familiar with what we're doing and what the expectations are. So one assignment that you have here in week one is you have your multimedia discussion board assignment. If you have been in the program for a while, you're familiar with these types of assignments. They're very common. They're kind of a staple to the courses here in the MPA program. So you'll be putting together a multimedia discussion board in which it's a two-part assignment. So in the first part of the assignment, you're going to provide a narrated introduction, about 2 to 3 minutes, where you introduce yourself, include information you're comfortable including, such as where you work, your information on your family, hobbies, etc. Only include information you're comfortable in sharing, and certainly want to respect privacy rights here as well. So just whatever you're comfortable sharing about yourself in a couple of minutes would be great for part one of that video. Then part two of the video, we're going to be looking at those 4 tides of reform that we discussed in our first video for this week. In the textbook, as you know, as we discussed in that first video, the textbook introduces you to 4 different tides of reform, or 4 different reform philosophies from Paul Light. The 4 tides of reform, the 4 reform philosophies: scientific management, war on waste, watchful eye, and liberation management. If you haven't watched the video yet this week, please go back and watch that video because we discussed those 4 in that video. Then in your own words, briefly identify each philosophy and its application to public sector human resources. Include an example from a public sector agency. So be creating a presentation with slides and narrated audio. Post the video, embed the video into discussion board. Video must be properly embedded in order to receive points for the assignment. At a minimum, there should be an introduction slide, an overview slide, graphic heavy slides with material, little or no text. That's what we mean by graphic heavy. And then a closing slide. And again, you've done this before, but for this one, it's that 2-part. So your introduction in the first part and your discussion of these tides of reform in the second part. In addition then to that video, that narrated multimedia presentation, you're then also going to be responding to a minimum of 2 of your classmates, welcoming to the class, sharing something you have in common, identifying one way your insights into the tide of reform were similar or different. So that's your discussion board assignment for this first week. Then also this week, you have a writing assignment. And this writing assignment, you're going to develop an essay focusing on human resources laws. The essay should begin with a thesis sentence. The thesis sentence must be followed by 3 themes exploring the human resource laws that could impact the scenario. Note themes should be broad concepts, and each theme may encompass several laws or issues covered in chapter number 2. And that's what chapter 2 does, is it focuses on these laws and rules and regulations. Subsequent 3 paragraphs should elaborate on each theme in the order listed in the thesis paragraph. Cite the book, videos, additional outside research in the body of the paper using APA in-text parenthetical citations. Remember to paraphrase and do not use direct quotes. The graduate level, we are really very much about paraphrasing rather than using the direct quotes. We want to see your interpretation as opposed to you taking direct quotes and using other people's words. Then you close the essay with the final paragraph, pull together your main points covered, and provide insights. Paper will consist of 5 paragraphs in the order listed above. Remember, use APA format, title page, page numbers, Times Roman 12-point font, parenthetical in-text citations, and properly formatted reference page, again, all in accordance with APA format. So those are your 2 primary assignments for this week. Again, if you have any questions all about them, feel free to send me an email. I'll be happy to answer any questions that you may have. So in addition to those 2 assignments for week 1, I also thought I would just preview for you the critical assignment. You know, for each one of your courses in the program, you have a critical assignment. So I thought we'd go through the critical assignment for this class early on here in week 1, just so you have an idea of what you'll be working on throughout the term. So for this final project, this final critical assignment, it's going to be a 10-page paper. And in that paper, you'll be addressing the topics below. So you have a scenario, and the scenario is that assume you have been tasked with developing a new department or agency for a federal, state, or local government that will begin in January of next year. Be detailed in each section and provide step-by-step guidance and defend every recommendation with the textbook and research. Describe your recommendations for the following considerations. Introduction overview. Explain the need for the department and what functions the department will serve. What positive outcomes are expected from the creation of the department. Introduce your paper to the reader so that he or she will know what the rest of the report will contain. Then a department mission. What's the mission of the new department you're creating? What are its goals? Position management section. What are your recommended job descriptions, minimum qualifications, salary ranges, etc.? What is the organization chart for this new department, including management and staff? Recruitment section. How will you recruit for each position? Provide a plan for your recruitment. Employee-friendly policies section. What employee-friendly policies would you recommend for employees, and why are you proposing those policies? A compensation section. How will you determine the salaries for the paid staff? What are the total salary budget for this new department? What compensation, benefits, reimbursement of awards will you propose for the staff? A training section. What training do you recommend? Be specific as to content, hours, delivery mode. What will be the training schedule, topics, and requirements? An appraisal section. What is your plan to appraise or evaluate staff? Legal and union section. What legal issues will you need to address? Dress and grooming codes, religion, anti-discrimination, etc. Identify at least one union or collective bargaining issue that could result from the creation of this department. What is your plan to address any union or collective bargaining issues that may arise? And then a summary section where you will summarize the main points, the main parts of your proposal. So you're going to be working on this through the term creating a department and then producing a paper where you address each of those different topics in a different section. The paper, as always, must be done using APA citation and reference format. It will be graded based upon grammar, format, compliance with directions, insight, creativity, and mastery of the material. And then there's also a grading rubric that is provided for you that I'll be using in evaluating your final paper. So I just thought I would preview the critical assignment for you so you kind of have an idea of what we're going to be working toward during our 8 weeks together. So again, any questions on anything at all for week number 1, please feel free to reach out and contact me. Otherwise, I wish everyone a great week, and I'll talk to you again for our week 2 videos next week. So take care, everyone.